Hi friends, and welcome to the Sami Show. I'm once again wearing my happy bun because today I am choosing to be grateful, even in the midst of some extremely challenging times. Our community, our nation, and our entire world are experiencing a pandemic like never before. Yet I've also never seen people come together in ways like this, even though we can't come in contact with each other. But don't worry, just as our Nashville community isn't going away or giving up, neither is this show. In fact, I've reached out to some of my favorite friends to teach, encourage, and inspire us this month. Annie Downs literally authored a book on being brave, so we'll talk with her today about how to look fear in the face and triumph. Then I'm sharing some practical ideas for things you can do with your kids and teens stuck at home. And if you're tired of eating the same thing over and over again, don't worry. Chef Laura Lee will teach us how to make a delicious recipe from her new cookbook. And finally, I'm sitting down with Barbara Rainey to help us find hope in the midst of these difficult times. Since we can't go out right now, I'm glad you're here with me virtually. So let's get the show started.
From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Sami Show, sponsored by Soundwaves at Gaylord Opryland.
Who couldn't use a little encouragement right now? And I couldn't think of anyone better to do that than a friend of mine that literally wrote the book on being brave. Annie Downs, welcome to the Sami Show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Sami. I'm so glad to be here.
I am thrilled that you're here. I mean, loud laugher that you are. I think we could use some of that, right, first of all. But it's so funny. I was prepping for this yesterday, and I found an interview we did years ago when you wrote a little book called Let's All Be Brave. And since then, you've come out with journals, 100 Days to Brave. It's really taken off. Can you just touch a little bit on why you feel like this topic of being brave just resonated with so many people literally around the world, even before the times that we're in right now?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You know, one of the things is that the word brave feels really interesting to people. The word courageous sometimes feels out of our reach, but the idea of being brave in the life you're living today feels like, yeah, I want to do that. I would like to do that. I wonder what that's like. And so I think that's part of it, is it just has this real Sami, you know me really well. I'm just a very normal person. And so the idea of someone that's very normal going like, yeah, you don't have to move across the world. You don't have to give up the life you have. What if the best thing you could do is be brave in the life that you've been given today? What would that look like? And I think that's a conversation people enjoy having.
I'm so glad you said that, because I mean that as a compliment. You are quick to say, kind of, if I can do this, anyone can do this, right? You're living your life. This wasn't spoon-fed to you. Let's just take a step back. Professionally, people are trying to get really creative right now and having to get really creative. Even just your steps to becoming an author and a speaker, you just knew that there was something there, that you knew there was something you wanted to do, but how do you take that next step?
Well, I think part of it is knowing what you want to do, but not attaching success to a certain level of something. You know, like in fact, I saw a friend yesterday. We're all on stay at home, right? We're all on shelter in place, which is why I'm at my house. And but from a distance, I saw a friend yesterday because we were celebrating an accomplishment of something he finished. It was the success is doing it. It's not how many people read it or watch it or experience it. The success is finishing something that you start. And so to me, I went into it, especially this job as an author and as a speaker, as a podcast host, all the things I do. It started that I wanted to write one book. And all I wanted to do was finish it. I wanted to prove to myself that I could write one book. And so I think that's part of how we do this, especially in these times, especially in the world we live in now. How do we determine what success is? Well, finishing is success.
Yeah, and you know, you bring up such an important point, because we are all at home. We're so glued to every screen possible right now.
Right.
And yet we have to focus inwardly, right? I think pushing pause to listen to that still, quiet voice so that we know what is it that we're called to do, what is that next step to take. how do you find yourself doing that? Even, you had a busier rhythm before, but you've always been very intentional about, Is that a good way to say it? Did you like that?
Yeah, my life is very different right now.
Very different.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're very intentional about taking a Sabbath and not, like I said, you're not, I hate to say, not religious about it, so to speak, but it's something that you felt you needed to do. Can you guide people in tapping into really just listening to that, not even just professionally, but personally, how we can get back in touch with ourselves so that we can move forward and rediscover?
Yeah, I think no matter what is going on the planet, whether you're being invited to a forced slowness that is for all of us, or whether you're choosing it on a normal week, I think there's really something about stopping production and stopping making things and stopping taking in content and paying attention to what already is in you. And paying attention to like, wait, what am I feeling? And I went on a walk yesterday, Sammy, and as I walked out my door, I put my hand on my chest and I said, okay, why are you feeling this? Why are you feeling this? And it's almost like it's having a more compassionate conversation with yourself and with your God, and going like, okay, why am I feeling this? What's going on? And for me, those moments, those minutes or an hour or a day where I get to slow down and think, maybe it's when I'm cooking, or it's when I'm sitting in my chair and reading, it's when I'm praying, or when I'm walking, where I can say like, okay, what does this really mean? What's really going on here? And in the best days, that's like, hey, what do I want to create? That I haven't made yet? What do I think I want to make to give to the world? And other times it's, why am I sad? And why am I scared? And why do I feel like there's not a lot of hope? Well, how can I rework that conversation in my mind?
So good, Annie. I could talk to you for hours. If people want to hear more from you, they can go to AnnieFDowns.com. Annie F. Downs on Instagram. You'll get just as much joy as you've gotten from her right now. Annie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Love you, friend.
Love you too. Be safe.